14 साल हो गए। शादी से पहले मेरे पैरों में होते थे सिर्फ, तो उसको मैंने ना डॉक्टर को बताई थी, तो डॉक्टर ने टॉपिसॉल और मॉइस्चराइजर क्रीम दिए थे वैसलीन का, तो वो लगाने के बाद में मेरे पैर को थोड़ा आराम हो जाता। तो फिर बीच में अभी बंद हो गए थे वो। अब ऐसा करते करते अभी वो हाथ में भी शुरू हो गए, तो पिछले 8-9 साल से हाथ में भी हो रहे हो। तो वो कपड़े बर्तन वो कभी ज्यादा करे ना तो वो ज्यादा हो जाते, पर अब ऐसा हो रहा ना कि कपड़े बर्तन नहीं भी करी ना तो भी होते, और अभी बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जा रहे हाथ में, और उसमें खुजली भी आती है और ऐसी क्रैक्स गिर के और खून भी निकलता। ये 8-9 साल हो गए इसको। तो वो जो स्किन के डॉक्टर है उनको बताई थी, तो वो बोले वजन की वजह से भी होता है, और ये सोरियासिस से बोले। जैसा मतलब मैंने अगर हाथ में ये सब रैशेस भी है तो मैंने काम को पीछे नहीं रखा, मेरे अपने आप को मैंने पीछे रखा कि भाई हाँ मैं बर्दाश्त कर रही तो मैं अभी ये काम कर लूं। पहले घर में मैं सबसे बड़ी थी, तो मैंने ऐसा मतलब किसी को नाराज नहीं की, जिसने जो काम बोला जिसने जो बोला मैंने मतलब वही करती गई। अपनी तकलीफ को कभी ऐसा आगे नहीं रखी क्या अब मेरे को आज तकलीफ हो रही तो मैं थोड़ा 1 घंटा रेस्ट करूं, क्या मेरे हाथ में तकलीफ है तो मैं नहीं करूं काम। चलो है गिले, वो गिले हो जाते तो फिर काम कर लेती ना मैं। पहले इसमें इतनी जलन नहीं थी, अभी जलन भी होने लग गई ना बहुत, एकदम हाइपर हो जाती है मैं, टेंशन बहुत जल्दी आ जाता है। बस मेरे को ऐसा लगता मैंने हेल्थ में बहुत मिसिंग कर दी, जो मैं अभी बीमारियों से जूझ रही हूँ। तो मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि भाई मैं जल्द से जल्द इससे राहत मिलूं, तो बस अल्लाह का शुक्र हो जाए। अपने को अभी कोई आराम नहीं दे रहा, ऐसा मतलब वो जब भी काम करो और अभी भी काम करो, ये फिर जो हाथ के और पैर की वजह से ना मैं घर काम भी करने में मुश्किल आ रही और काम वाली भी मिलती नहीं, बर्तनों का ही प्रॉब्लम होता। पर अब ऐसा हो रहा ना, ग्लव्स पहनने के बाद बर्तन भी कर रही हूँ ना, तो नई बर्तन और नई कपड़े करके भी हाथ पैर ऐसे हो रहे। और अब ये 2 दिन से ना ठंडी का थोड़ा ऐसा महसूस हो रहा ना, तो पैर में से पसीना भी निकल रहा, और वो है ना ड्राई रहते ना तो जब एकदम कड़क हो जाते तो टेकने में भी तकलीफ होती है और जलन होती है उसमें। अब जैसा अभी ठंडी गिरेगी ना तो मेरे हाथ पैर में से पसीना चालू हो जाएगा, पसीना आएगा तल हाथ में से और तल पैर में से। हाँ हो गए, अभी थोड़ा फ्रेश लग रहा है ऐसा। आज ना मेरा सुबह से सर में दर्द हो रहा था, हाँ हाथ पैर भी जाम हो गए थे, थोड़ा सा अभी आराम लग रहा है मुझे। अच्छा 70% अच्छा लग रहा है। 13 दिनों में मेरे को मतलब हाथ को आराम हुआ मेरे। अभी मतलब एक भी ऐसा क्रैक्स खुले हुए नहीं है, जो क्रैक्स खुले हुए ना वो कुछ भी नहीं है, पैर के भी क्रैक्स खुले हुए नहीं है।
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Omahani. Today we are going to discuss a case that truly amazing. A patient came to us who had been suffering from palmoplantar psoriasis for 14 long years. The skin of her hands would crack open, the skin of her feet would split to such an extent that blood would ooze out. She couldn't do any household work, nor could she rest peacefully. She was exhausted mentally and physically from taking allopathic medicines, applying ointments, and using steroids again and again. She had reached a point where she had accepted this disease as her fate. One day, she met one of our previous patients who had recovered under our treatment, and he suggested that she contact us. She reached out, we took her detailed case history, and what happened next was truly unbelievable. Within just 7 days of homeopathic treatment, those deep cracks, those bleeding wounds on her hands, feet, and heels began to close. The patient felt immense relief and peace, as if a weight she had carried for years had suddenly lifted off her shoulders. Sometimes in life, we endure certain sufferings for so long that they begin to feel permanent. A moment comes when you start believing, this is my destiny now, and you begin to walk with that pain as if it's a part of you. But then, life surprises you. You meet someone, you hear something, you find a new path and everything changes. In this patient's case, the moment she stepped into homeopathic treatment, her journey took a completely different turn. This is how you realize that no matter how chronic your pain is, you don't have to carry it forever. You must explore, you must question, you must look for alternatives, because living with unnecessary pain while life is already full of struggles is not just difficult, it is unfair to yourself. I always say that every patient teaches you a remedy in a completely new way. When I gave her selenium, it was the first time I ever prescribed this medicine in my practice, and the experience was eye-opening. Without knowing much about the medicine initially, the patient's response taught me its depth. Once the result came, I went back to study the case again, and I was stunned to see how beautifully everything connected: the pathology, the mind, the patient's manner of expressing, her energy, her aggravations, everything was in perfect alignment with the remedy's nature. Honestly, sometimes I feel that one lifetime is too short to understand homeopathy completely. There is so much to learn, so much to connect, so much to experience. Whenever someone asks me what advice I would give to new homeopaths or students, I always tell them that I began my journey simply by observing my surroundings and connecting everything to homeopathy, studying its principles, reading the organon deeply, and then linking life with homeopathic philosophy. You don't need to spend lakhs just to learn after completing your 5.5 years of study. Start taking cases. See as many patients as you can. Observe your teachers and senior practitioners if you don't have your own cases yet. Study life, study behavior, study medicine, study the patient and connect everything. You will learn more deeply than any textbook can ever teach you. A homeopath's life changes along with their patients. Your own struggles, your own transformations, your own inner battles, they don't come without purpose. For example, when you feel stuck in life with no way out and then 2 or 3 patients walk into your clinic, you offer them a solution, you give them the right treatment, they feel better, and suddenly your own pain takes a back seat. Their healing becomes your strength. The positive change you create in their life flows right back into yours. This is exactly what I have experienced personally throughout my practice. So stay motivated, keep learning, and remember, every struggle, every patient, every remedy, and every experience is shaping you into a better homeopath. Now, let's move on to the case and understand how we approached it and solved it so effectively. Many homeopaths, the moment they hear the name selenium, instantly pull out a long highlighted list of symptoms: weakness, reproductive issues, or some stereotypical problem. This is exactly what we must avoid. We should not turn homeopathy into allopathy, where a fixed set of symptoms automatically leads to a fixed prescription. Our system is not meant to work in that mechanical, ordinary way. We have our own principles, and you must never expect to understand homeopathy through shortcuts. When you repertorize a condition like eruptions on the palm or dryness, a few medicines do appear, and most homeopaths instantly choose from the common ones. In psoriasis cases especially, many doctors jump toward nat rum group medicines because they have seen good results in several skin issues. But if the pathology does not match the patient's mind and personality, the remedy will simply not act. This is why the medicine's energy and the patient's energy must mirror each other. Our principle remains similia similibus curentia, like cures like. In this case, when I took the patient's history, something became very clear. This case could easily be compared with the periodic table. If you look at the left side of the periodic table, you see elements that don't know anything yet but want to learn. The middle elements are strong, well-structured and stable. The right side elements, however, have lost the strength they once had, their capacity to maintain their structure weakens, and they grieve this loss. This patient fit the right side perfectly. Earlier in her life, she handled every task on her own. She said, "I have consistently prioritized the needs of others above my own, always placing myself second to the well-being of those around me." But now she said she couldn't manage anything. Her entire voice was rooted in a deep insecurity, financial, emotional, and physical. Skin represents security, and row 4 of the periodic table also stands for security. When her marriage began, she wanted to become the perfect daughter-in-law. In trying to achieve that ideal, she suppressed her own suffering for years, keeping herself last in every matter. But now, she had reached a breaking point. She said, "Doctor, now I am indifferent towards my work and my in-laws. I don't want to maintain any relationship with them." She had become completely detached. When I asked how she felt physically, she said, "Doctor, I have neglected my health for so long. I feel exhausted. Even if I walk one step, I become breathless. I sweat excessively, even in winter. I constantly need a fan." Here we study the patient's energy. Selenium patients are aggravated by the sun's heat. As a good homeopath, you must cultivate curiosity. Why does selenium worsen from sunlight? First, understand the energy of the sun. Listen carefully. If you miss this, you will miss the heart of the case. The sun's energy mirrors male energy. Look at a man's pattern. He wakes up, works, achieves, and sleeps. A straightforward, linear flow. The sentence sounds simple, but its depth is profound. The moon's energy, on the other hand, mirrors feminine energy. Sometimes it's full, sometimes it's half, always fluctuating, rhythmic, changing, affected by hormones, never constant in strength. Selenium patients reflect the trapped heat of the sun, burning, intense, restless. Earlier in their life, such patients often display immense responsibility and dedication. But once they enter the diseased state, that sense of duty collapses completely, and they slip into indifference. Selenium even exhibits a remarkable scientific property, the photovoltaic effect. When sunlight strikes selenium atoms, photons excite and release electrons, generating electrical current. This is the physical principle behind solar cells, photocells, and even laser printers. Selenium also plays a crucial role in thyroid function as a key part of selenoproteins responsible for hormone production, metabolism, and protection. This patient was already suffering from hyperthyroidism, and selenium is known to be deeply beneficial in such conditions. Therefore, as a whole, selenium covered her pathology, her energy, her emotional state, and her physical complaints. It was the perfect simillimum. And naturally, it gave the best possible results. Today, we explored the energy pattern of selenium, its nature, its deficiency state, its pathology, its scientific behavior, and its uses. As we continue studying more selenium cases in the future, you will notice something beautiful. Every new patient teaches you a new layer of the remedy. That is the real charm of homeopathy. Every case is a fresh chapter, every patient a new teacher. And at the end, I would like to say this: when this case first came to me, I genuinely felt that if modern medicine could not make any significant change in 14 long years, then expecting homeopathy to bring relief, let alone a complete transformation, seemed like a distant dream. Even seeing a slight improvement would have felt nothing short of a miracle. So how did I understand this? I realized that whenever you find yourself in a situation where every door appears shut, where nothing seems to make sense, and it feels as if the path ahead has turned completely dark, that is exactly the moment when you must tell yourself the opposite: no, something good is going to happen. Something beautiful is on its way. If we begin a case with a positive mindset and purposely set an intention that no matter how difficult the case looks, something wonderful will unfold, then we align our energy with that intention. And when energy aligns, healing becomes much easier. After that, your trust in homeopathy only grows stronger, because you witness firsthand that when the mind holds certainty, the medicine holds power. This journey is endlessly fascinating. So stay with us, subscribe to this channel, and I will see you all in our next study session. Until then, take care.
अल्लाह ने फरमाया कि अल्लाहकुमुत तकासुर, ज्यादा से ज्यादा की तलब ने तुम्हें अल्लाह से गाफिल कर रखा है। लेकिन ये माल, ये दौलत, ये पैसा, ये प्रॉपर्टियां, ये इंसान के कब तक काम आती हैं? जब तक जिंदगी और रूह का रिश्ता कायम है। एक बार जिंदगी और रूह का रिश्ता खत्म हो गया, एक बार नब्ज की डोरी टूट गई, तो इंसान के ये सारे माल, ये सारी दौलत, ये सारी प्रॉपर्टियां, ये सारी जमा पूंजी उससे छिन जाती है। उसकी आल औलाद उसके ऊपर कब्जा कर लेती है। तो ये माल, ये औलाद, ये प्रॉपर्टियां, ये जायदाद जिसमें इंसान जिंदगी भर अपने आप को घुलाता है, उसके पीछे मारा मारा फिरता है, उसको ज्यादा से ज्यादा जमा करने के लिए अपनी नींद का ख्याल नहीं करता, अपने सुकून और अपने खाने का ख्याल नहीं करता। ये माल और दौलत ये उसके उतने ही हैं जितना कि वो खा ले और जितना कि वो पहन ले और जितना कि वो सदका कर दे। बाकी माल, बाकी असबाब, बाकी पैसा सब उसकी आल औलाद और उसके वरसा उसके ऊपर कब्जा कर लेते हैं। जहां इंसान को मौत वाक़ई हुई, तहां सारी दौलत और सारा पैसा उससे छिन जाता है, उसका ताल्लुक़ उससे ख़त्म हो जाता है। अल्लाह के नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने बयान फरमाया, यतबउल मय्यत सलासतुन, 3 चीजें मय्यत के साथ साथ कब्र तक जाती हैं। यरजिउ इस्नाने व यबका वाहिद, 2 चीजें लौट आती हैं कब्र से और कब्रिस्तान से, और एक चीज उसके साथ जाती है, माल और औलाद और अमल। ये इंसान के साथ साथ उसकी कब्र तक जाते हैं। माल और औलाद तो लौट आते हैं, औलाद लौट आते हैं। माल, कितने लोग होते हैं जो आपके माली पोजीशन को देख करके आपके जनाजे में, आपके तदफीन में पहुंचते हैं, माल की कशिश लेकर के जाती है उनको, तो वो भी लौट आते हैं। और सिर्फ आपका जो अमल है, आपकी जो नेकियां हैं, आपके जो सदकात व खैरात हैं, आपके जो नवाफिल हैं, वो आपके साथ आपके कब्र में जाते हैं और आपके साथ हिसाब व किताब के मरहले में और जन्नत में लेकर के ये अमल आपको जाता है। और इसी को एक शायर ने बड़े खूबसूरत अंदाज में कहा है कि कहा अहबाब ने ये दफन के वक्त कि हम क्यों कब्र के अहवाल जाने, कहा अहबाब ने ये दफन के वक्त कि हम क्यों कब्र के अहवाल जाने, लिहाज तक आपकी ताज़ीम कर दी, आगे आपके अमाल जाने।